In this video, I want to give my analysis of the Maize and Blues 8-game 2020 football schedule. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Well, the Wolverines and the entire Big Ten's schedule recently got released, so of course I wanted to shoot a short video just looking at those 8 games and giving my take on what I expect to happen in terms of the outcome of those games. But first, I want to thank everyone who watched my video discussing Nico Collins and Dylan McCaffrey's departure from Ann Arbor. I think that video is still performing for me, and I just want to say that it's amazing how well this Michigan content performs. I don't know if it's that everyone loves the Maize and Blue that much, or everyone's just that happy to have it back. But I just want to thank everyone who supported that video, and also my new subs. I picked up a bunch of new subs here, and I actually lost one. Someone who had subscribed earlier on in this year, after I started Big Discussions 76 Sports, basically told me, you know what, you've lost my subscription. I think because I mentioned something about the president and the whole thing about the Big Ten presidents, wanting to use shutting down the Big Ten season to hurt the president's chances of getting reelected. So first of all, I'm an independent. I also don't think that sports should be influenced by politics, but that, it was believed that was a part of what's happening, and I just commented on what's happening. I don't think that should influence what we do and whether or not we have games, but that was a part of the discussion, and it's what's happening, so I just mentioned it. But I will keep an eye on that going forward in terms of political talk and social talk in sports. And actually, one of my most loyal subs, actually told me when I uploaded one of my NBA videos that he and some other folks were boycotting sports because they don't want to see social justice and political talk in their sports world. So I'm going to keep an eye on that going forward. I'm wearing my, I have a lot of Michigan t-shirts, so I went into my closet to take a look at, to find a shirt, and I decided to go retro here. This is from the 2004 Rose Bowl. And that season, that was the last year, that was Lloyd Carr's last team to beat Ohio State. That was John Navarre's senior year, Chris Perry's senior year. Braylon Edwards was on that team. Lamar Woodley was on that team. I believe Prescott Burgess, Steve Breston, I think, was a freshman on that team. Jason Avant, Tyler Eckert, Dave Boss, Tony Pape, those guys. And as I've mentioned on this channel, one of my most memorable Lloyd Carr quotes was, "Well, at least we still get to go to the Rose Bowl." Anyhow, so yeah, this is a retro shirt. This is older. This shirt is 16 years old. So I want to talk about the Maize and Blues 2020 schedule. But as I've said on this channel, I am a scientist and a writer first, and I actually do have a blogging platform, and I'm working with a collaborator who gives me content, and I publish it. And they gave me a piece that I think very much relates to what's happening now with COVID-19 and the Big Ten and the NFL and the NBA. And that I'm going to leave that post in the description box below. And it's basically talking about how COVID-19 has changed sports thus far and how it may change sports going forward. And there were some things that I think very much apply to this whole saga with the Big Ten, because there are a lot of folks who thought that it should not go forward, and I was very, very outspoken about the safety of the student athletes being the most important thing. And someone commented on my last video saying, that that should be your number one focus, and I thought that I was pretty consistent with my position on that it should be the safety of the student athletes first, and once everything has been reasonably considered and controlled for, then the Big Ten, the presidents, Kevin Warren, the universities, then they should let the student athletes play, and we should sit back and enjoy. So I'm going to leave that in the description box below. So they released the schedule, and I was a little hesitant about shooting this video because the last time I shot a video, when I shot a video about a month ago, shortly thereafter they canceled it. So I didn't want to jinx the whole thing, but it looks like they're going to go forward with it, and everyone else has talked about the schedule, so I'm going to do it right now. This is going to be short. So there are 8 games. It looks like they're going to kick off, the Maize and Blues going to kick off on October 24th up at Minnesota. On October 31st, the next week, Sparty comes in, little brother, Cal U. Jimmy's team has to go down to Indiana, down to Bloomington. We've got the Badgers coming in. Usually the home team wins that game. So, let's see. The Wolverines are going down to Rutgers. That should be a win. Penn State is coming into the Big House. Thanksgiving weekend, normally that is Buckeye weekend. Speaking of Buckeye weekend, as per usual, Buckeye fan found his way into my last Michigan football video. So somehow one Buckeye fan, at least one, always comes in tearing things up and raising hell. So that's going to be Penn State weekend this year. The next week, Maryland journeys to the Big House. And then on December 12th, that's going to be the Ohio State game. And so just briefly looking at this, okay, I see a 7-1 season. That could go either way. You never know who's going to get injured. You never know. The teams will basically have a month to prepare. I don't think there's been all of the extensive off-season work. There was no spring game. And you just never know how things are going to shake out in sports. But looking at this, with the exception of the last game, and maybe the first game, because the Wolverines have to go up to Minnesota But in PJ Fleck's team, I believe it's PJ Fleck. But the Gophers up there, they're tough. But with the exception of the Buckeyes, the rest of those, in my opinion, are winnable games. And I think, speaking of the Buckeyes, I think Kwity Paye said that they have a soft schedule. And I did look at the Buckeyes' schedule, and it does look soft. So their schedule is set up for them to make a run back to the Big Ten title game and then back into the college football playoff. But anything can happen in terms of injuries. But I think that, yeah, this should be a pretty smooth ride up until December 12th, where Jimmy's team has to go back down into the snake pit. So let's see what happens. So in terms of content to come, so there's still about a month left until things kick off on October 24th. So look for me, look for content leading up to, that kickoff. Look for me to probably remaster and re-upload some of my content from the painful 2019-2020 season. Last season was a bit of a roller coaster ride, which there were a number of games which we could have and maybe should have lost, like the Army game and also the Iowa game. And many of those games were painful to watch. It turned out, even though we lost to Ohio State and the team blew a fart in the bowl game against Alabama, it didn't turn out as bad as it could have had we lost those games to Army and then to Iowa. I don't know how we won that Iowa game. The defense carried us, but the offense blew a fart in that game. So look for remastered content from last season. And also, once the games start, look for post-game live streams and also cammed up footage like this as well in between the games. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Right now, looking at this looks like a 7-1 season. Anything can happen leading up to the kickoff at Minnesota. Players could get hurt. Some of our players could get hurt. Some of their players could get hurt. Anything can happen, and then anything can happen once the play starts. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this, going back to that blog post I discussed and what's happening now with the games. The athletic department sent a email out to alumni saying no one will be allowed in the big house. And in my last video, I said I hope that they at least let some of the band members in there, and someone in the comment section questioned me on that. And my opinion was, yeah, I think if some of the band can get in there and play the fight songs and, the victors and Let's Go Blue, I think that would be good, because part of the college football experience is hearing the band play our school songs. So maybe let the bands in up at the higher levels of the stadium. I don't know. They don't have to necessarily be down on the field or close to the field with the players, but and maybe if you could spread the band out so they're not, potentially contaminating each other. But yeah, I still think that's a good idea to let the bands in. So I'm going to stop this here. And I don't know if I said this, but the Kwity Paye article about him thinking Ohio State's schedule is soft, I'm going to leave that in the description box below, along with my blog post and I think anything else relevant to the Maize and Blues schedule. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Go Blue! And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.